Hey, welcome back to Guitar Discoveries. I think we've got a day that qualifies as maybe the weirdest day ever. So I woke up this morning on Mars. Let me show you what I'm talking about. All right, it is 10 a.m. right now. Now, why is the sun not appearing? And the answer is all the accumulated smoke from the wildfires that have been burning out of control in California for 3 weeks now. So it is pretty insane. You know, David Bowie would be proud. This is life on Mars. But there was something else that made this a good candidate for the weirdest day ever. And it's an article that just appeared in the New York Times this morning. So let me show that to you. Closing out some of that smoke. We don't want to be breathing that all day. So check this out. Guitars are back, baby. When all of this stuff with the pandemic first happened and everybody was locking down and all the economic impacts were hitting, it seemed pretty clear the guitar companies were going to be struggling in a huge way. You know, the big box retailers were closing, Guitar Center, you know, people couldn't go there. So, you know, major retailer, all the little guys, the mom and pop shops, a lot of them are still hurting, unfortunately. But this news is really interesting because what this confirms is that people have been locked down and not just sitting around on social media, but actually picking up guitars and playing. And many people are starting to play. So what we're seeing is that some of the biggest names, Fender, Gibson, people like that, Taylor, those companies are actually posting record sales and profits right now during this time. And you'd think, hey, guitars are a luxury item, but guess what? People are really craving to get back to something real, something that challenges them, something that passes time in a way that, you know, actually feels productive. So a year ago, I did a video called The Deathdefying Growth of Guitar Sales. I'll put a link here so you can check it out here, somewhere. And that was talking about how encouraging it was that guitars were actually still selling pretty well, despite all of the other things that are competing for attention with them. But this one is pretty awesome. There's a section here that says, hold the obituaries. A year and a half into a pandemic that's threatened to sink entire industries, people are turning to the guitar as a quarantine companion and psychological salve, spurring a surge in sales for some of the most storied companies, Fender, Gibson, Martin, Taylor, that has shocked even industry veterans. I'm loving this. So let's start with age. There are new young people coming into the guitar market. Love to see this. Nearly 20% of newcomers are under 24, 70% were under 45, unlike me. Women are another group that are coming into the guitar market, many for the first time. Female users accounted for 45% of the new wave, compared with 30% before the pandemic. Welcome, women. Glad to have you on board. Andy Mooney, CEO of Fender, he says, I would never have predicted that we'd be looking at having a record year. We've broken so many records, it'll be the biggest year of sales volume in Fender history, record days of double-digit growth, e-commerce sales, and beginner gear sales. I never would have thought we'd be where we are today if you asked me back in March. And I love this quote from Chris Martin IV, part of a long family history of this 187-year-old company called Martin. When this first happened and their sales just, took a dive, he said, I figured this is one of those business falls off a cliff situations. We'll pick up the pieces and put the company back together whenever. So March was terrible, right? The revenues were 40% down. But then he says, it's crazy. It's unbelievable the demand there is right now for acoustic guitars. I've been through guitar booms before, but this one caught me completely by surprise. So I posted a couple other videos that you might be interested in. I did the Guitarist Prescription for a Pandemic. That's one that you should check out because I go into some detail about sort of how and why playing guitar is really important to get you through this time. And even more recently, I did a video about learning to play guitar during the pandemic. And check that one out. That should have some inspirational tips. My channel is all about this kind of stuff, right? It's trying to give you shortcuts, tips, tricks that'll help you become a better guitarist faster. So that's why I'm here. I hope you'll subscribe and just take a moment to like the video and make this happen for the future. I'm going to close by directing you to a video of my band. It's my duo, Cosmic Spin, that I have with my wife, Bara. This weird Life on Mars. I mean, look at that orange behind me. I still can't even believe this. It's, 10:40 at this point, and it's like not even daytime. It's like after sunset on Mars. I want to send you to our version of Space Oddity. This was a live recording we did a few years back. It was a tribute to David Bowie. Go check it out, and I'll see you next time on Guitar Discoveries. The papers want to know, should